In the kingdom of Evermere, two cunning strangers arrived at the royal palace, claiming to be master weavers with an extraordinary talent. They boasted of their ability to create garments so magnificent that only those who were truly kind and pure-hearted could see them. Those who were selfish or cruel, they warned, would see nothing at all. King Eldric, who took great pride in his lavish wardrobe, was immediately intrigued. He commissioned the weavers to create a splendid outfit, eager to prove his own goodness and wisdom. The strangers set up their looms and pretended to weave with invisible thread, describing the vibrant colors and intricate patterns as if they were real. Curious about the progress, the king sent his advisors to inspect the work. One by one, the advisors saw nothing but feared admitting it, lest they be thought unworthy or unkind. So, they praised the imaginary fabric and reported back to the king about its unmatched beauty. Fooled by their words and unwilling to appear unfit to rule, the king himself played along, believing in the illusion. The deception spread, trapping the entire court in a web of fear and pride, setting the stage for the ultimate revelation. As the deceptive weavers worked on the so-called magical garments, the king grew eager to witness their progress. However, he first sent his most trusted advisors to inspect the work. When each advisor arrived at the loom, they saw nothing but empty air. Panic filled their hearts. If they admitted they saw nothing, wouldn't that mean they were unkind or impure of heart? Fearing the shame and consequences, they all chose to lie. "Oh, Your Majesty, the fabric is exquisite," one advisor gushed. "The colors are rich, and the patterns are beyond compare." Another chimed in, "It is truly the finest craftsmanship in all the land." Each person, afraid of appearing unworthy, reinforced the illusion, convincing themselves and others that the invisible garments were real. When the time came for the king himself to view the outfit, he too saw nothing. But how could he, a wise and noble ruler, admit such a thing? Refusing to be seen as lacking in kindness or virtue, he joined in the charade, praising the clothing and proudly declaring that he would wear it for all to see. His fear of judgment had blinded him to the truth, leading him into the weaver's trap. As King Eldric proudly paraded through the streets in his magical new clothes, his people lined the roads, clapping and cheering. Though many saw nothing but the king's bare skin, none dared to speak the truth. They feared being judged as unkind or unworthy, just as the king and his advisors had. So, they played along, pretending to admire his invisible garments. But amidst the crowd stood a little girl, no older than 7, holding her mother's hand. With innocent eyes and a heart unburdened by fear, she looked at the king and blurted out, "Why is the king wearing no clothes?" A hush fell over the crowd. The people looked at each other, hesitant and unsure. Whispers spread like wildfire. The king, hearing the child's words, suddenly froze. He turned to face her, his proud expression wavering. In that moment, the illusion shattered. The people, realizing the truth, could no longer pretend. Laughter and murmurs of disbelief rippled through the crowd. The child's simple honesty had broken the spell of fear and deception, revealing the truth to all, including the king himself. And with that, a great lesson was learned about the power of truth and sincerity. At first, King Eldric stood in stunned silence as the little girl's words echoed through the crowd. He looked down at himself, then at the faces of his people, some amused, some embarrassed, but all waiting to see how he would react. In that moment, he had a choice. He could let his pride turn to anger, punishing the girl for exposing the truth, or he could embrace the wisdom hidden in her honesty. Instead of rage, a smile slowly spread across the king's face. He let out a hearty laugh, surprising everyone. "The child is right," he declared. "I have been fooled by my own vanity, and I have fooled all of you in return." His voice was not bitter but filled with humility. "But today, I have learned a great lesson that truth, no matter how simple, is more valuable than the finest clothes." He knelt before the little girl and gently took her hand. "You, my dear, have done what no one else dared to do, speak the truth with kindness and courage." He rewarded her for her honesty and promised that his kingdom would forever value truth over appearances. From that day forward, he ruled with newfound wisdom, ensuring that honesty and sincerity flourished in Evermere. King Eldric had always been known for his love of fine clothing. His wardrobe was filled with the richest silks, the most delicate embroidery, and garments adorned with gold and jewels. Every day, he wore a new outfit, believing that his appearance was a reflection of his greatness as a ruler. His people admired his elegance, but deep down, they knew that he was more concerned with his image than with their well-being. However, everything changed when two deceptive weavers arrived at the palace, claiming they could make a magical outfit that only kind and pure-hearted individuals could see. Eager to prove his worth, the king commissioned the outfit, unknowingly becoming trapped in a web of vanity and pride. When the outfit was supposedly complete, he, his advisors, and even his people pretended to admire it, too afraid to admit they saw nothing. It was only when a little girl innocently pointed out the truth, that the king was wearing no clothes, that the illusion shattered. The king could have reacted with anger or shame, but instead, he chose wisdom. He laughed, acknowledged his mistake, and praised the child for her honesty. In that moment, he realized that his obsession with appearance had blinded him to what truly mattered. Determined to change, King Eldric made a vow to his people: from this day forward, kindness and truth would be the foundation of the kingdom, not vanity and deception. With this new understanding, the king began to lead differently. Instead of spending royal funds on extravagant garments, he used them to improve the lives of his people. Schools were built so that children could learn wisdom and truth. Tailors who once crafted luxurious robes were encouraged to sew clothing for the poor. Markets became places of generosity, where merchants helped one another instead of competing over who had the finest goods. The king himself set an example. He abandoned the need for grand fashion and chose simple yet dignified clothing. When nobles asked why, he replied, "True greatness is not in what we wear, but in the kindness we show." His words spread throughout the land, inspiring people to value inner goodness over outward appearances. Soon, Evermere became known not for its fashion, but for its warmth and sincerity. Visitors from neighboring kingdoms were astonished by the harmony of its people. They saw farmers helping one another, children treating their elders with respect, and leaders making decisions based on fairness rather than personal gain. King Eldric's transformation did more than change his own life, it reshaped an entire kingdom. Where once there had been vanity, there was now humility. Where there had been deception, there was now honesty. And where there had been selfishness, there was now kindness. His story became a lesson for generations to come. True beauty is not found in clothing, wealth, or status, it is found in the goodness of the heart.